It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. We got Jason Pink Hoodie Chung,
Wow.
Tanner Backwards Hat Chin, and Troy Big Hair Win. Get a round of applause, everybody. Thank you for coming here tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you for describing us.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
I've always wanted to be on this podcast,
Poetry.
and I'm glad you guys actually were able to invite me on this time.
No problem. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. So, what do you guys do around here?
We eat.
We're just kind of yeah. Sometimes we eat for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just chat. Yeah.
I love eating and chatting. That's honestly one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah. Me too.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time, like you go out with friends and then you go out and eat and
And you just talk, right? And you just talk and have a good time. Because you know what? It's really not that hard to talk and eat at the same time, right?
I don't really see
a lot of value. in
Mm,
talking and eating.
well, now that you put it like that, I don't really see the value.
Yeah, I feel like you get a nice you enjoy the person's company more.
But like
when you can eat.
But when
and-
you go,
and talk
but it depends
casually.
on what you're going for. Am I going out to eat to socialize with friends, or am I going out to eat because I'm really, really hungry and trying to eat as much food as I can? No, really, this is all hypothetical, and like,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
know
of
I'm saying
course.
this is my hobby, but like,
Right. But do you ever just ask somebody to go out to eat with you that you're just gonna go there and not talk to them and just eat the whole time?
it's been done before.
How often do you do that? Why would you do that? You go out, hold on, you invite other people to eat with you when you want to enjoy somebody's company.
Because I am very wary of their hunger, and I want them to be able to eat something good like me, so I invite them along.
What are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on
What
this,
are your
Sean?
thoughts on what?
On this whole eating and talking and
Let's
like can you do you all right, Troy, I gotta ask you, do you ever invite somebody out to eat and don't talk to them?
No. If
Yeah,
I'm
see?
inviting someone not to go eat somewhere, I definitely. Make sure to talk to them.
Here's the thing though. But when the food is so good and everyone eats at the same time, no one says anything. Has that ever happened to you?
I actually have had that happen.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. That'll happen. That'll happen for small instances during the meal. But you know
But
what?
but some meals
You're
are
gonna-
some meals are just so big that you're too busy enjoying
the
it.
whole time. The whole
Yeah,
time.
like
That's infactual. What about? Hold on. Hold on.
That made so much sense
What
to you, and
about-
you were like, whoa, okay.
No. What about those instances?
How many
where-
whatabouts are there?
3.
There's a lot of instances, man. Okay. There's instances where you become tired of the food, where you don't even enjoy the food anymore, and you have this feeling of disgust.
I never had that feeling before. I really enjoy everything I eat.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
You know what? Then you know what? You got me there. All right, I'll concede. You can.
All right,
you
yeah, that's
can,
the end. That's the end of
That's
that.
the
That's the end of that. You can enjoy your meal
Thank
and
you.
not talk in silence. Okay.
Because it's so good. I love it. It's amazing. Amazing.
Would you ever throw out that food if you enjoyed it so much?
No, I would never.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't throw away any food,
Yeah. I've
I
never
like it.
thrown away food in my life.
even
I
if
like
it goes
it.
bad.
You know what? You're very conscious about the children in Africa.
Oh,
People
no.
don't say that anymore, but I think
Yeah, I actually haven't heard that in so long.
Yeah, think about the kids in Africa. Maybe they don't want to offend the kids in Africa. Or, I don't know.
I heard that all the time, especially like in elementary school. Like if you didn't finish your food, another kid would say that could have gone to some kid in Africa. And as a kid, I was like, how though?
You didn't
I would
know?
like, yeah, I would ship it to them if I could, but I'm like 4
Whenever
years
you place your food into the trash can, it loads onto a truck.
old. it's actually into like a mailbox kind of thing.
It's so crazy. Like modern
So
technology.
it's good to throw away food then.
Yes, keep throwing away your food.
Throwing it away.
Each dumpster bag is actually picked up by the USPS or FedEx, who knows?
Yep.
And then Airbus all the way to Africa. I like it.
Yeah. But also, you could also look at it when you throw away food, it becomes fertile soil, and by that you grow more food for other people, for us to eat. To enjoy.
Oh, okay. It's like that teach a man to fish kind of thing. We're looking at long term. We're looking
Yes.
to
Teach a man to
sustain.
fish. Right. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Teach a man to fish, he'll know how to fish.
Yes. And don't teach a man how to fish.
He won't know how to fish.
That makes sense.
You guys are like modern day prophets, man. Like
Prophets?
Muhammad and Jesus
We-
over here, man.
Muhammad.
Mr. Confucius and
You just said
functionally
Muhammad
over
and
here.
Jesus, and now we're apparently someone else.
They're all prophets, okay? They're all prophets in their own right.
I don't think
You guys got a little bit squintier eyes than Muhammad and Jesus.
I was.
so
But you
that's
just
it.
called it Confucius.
Yeah, no, I had to make it something more relevant to you guys.
Ah, yes,
You're right.
Sun
He
Tzu.
adjusted on the fly. He was adaptable.
Who?
Who?
Who was Sun
What?
Tzu?
You don't know the Art of War?
Oh yeah.
I've heard of the Art of War, but I don't know.
Who do you
much.
think wrote it?
I guess Sun Tzu. Now that we're talking about it.
There you go. Nah, that's good shit, boy.
That's what
I have to go to Kroger tomorrow and buy some what is it called? Some healing oil.
Is this podcast your personal grocery list?
I need something to remind me tomorrow. So when
You just use the podcast as a grocery reminder?
and I may be sure to buy one loaf of bread and peanut butter. Okay.
Alright.
Anyways, so I believe you had something you wanted to talk about, Troy. You wanted to bring up.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought about this from one of my favorite artists. He has a song called Self-Aware.
What's his
And
name?
it's basically about, plug his name for success. His name is Andres with the accent mark over the E. Go listen to him.
Hispanic.
Yes, very Hispanic. Very. And besides his race, right? The song Self-Aware is about people who know like their flaws and their like bad desires and they know everything that's wrong about them, but they still just like continue to like do it and they kind of say they're going to fix it, but they haven't and they most likely won't based on what we've
I mean,
seen
if
so
you
far.
think about like the whole concept of like making or getting out of something or changing something, it's like the first step is to acknowledge it.
Yeah,
So
that's the first step. But
and
the
it's
That's just
that could
something
be
to
the-
tell
that could
people to
but
make
that
them
but
feel
that
like they're making
that actually
progress,
could be
bro.
the longest step of the process is getting
Uh.
started. If if you always heard that before, like the hardest one is just getting out of bed or just start getting your your first foot forward or something. Putting your best foot forward. And if you're not willing to, actually engage in that, then definitely it's a hard, arduous process. But it does eventually get there if you're willing to like keep pushing it.
And that is what the song is mostly talking about. It's those people who got to that stage of being self-aware, and then they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's good enough. That's good. That's good. Congratulations, I'm self-aware now." But then they just keep doing the good stuff. But they're like, "Oh, but since I know what's wrong with me, like that's pretty good,
Yeah,
And they just
it's
feel
never
content
good
with that.
enough, but I think it's still a good step.
No, I think that I don't think it. I think of it more as like a half step. Thinking like understanding that you have these problems. Yes, that's a big deal, but I think that people put a lot of emphasis on it where it's not. You're not taking action.
Maybe
It's
because
all-
of the
it's
fact
all
that
talk.
we
It's
that
cheap,
maybe the fact that we do put like a heavy emphasis on it is the reason why people take so long with it as well, or it's vice versa, like some reverse engineering type deal.
Uh-huh.
I'm just trying
I
to
don't
make explanations for this.
I'm just trying to excuse that kind of
No,
behavior.
it's cool to think from like the other side for sure.
Yeah, Tanner, you can't just think from one side all the time.
No, but I think it's fine. It's fine to think that,
world's
yeah,
in
like
black and
I
white.
recognize that I have these problems, blah blah blah. But I think that
Have you
putting emphasis on that is becoming a problem because
have
it's
you
like,
fallen victim to acknowledging a problem that you want to fix, but you haven't? You never actually initiated it.
yeah,
Or
sure. And I
started.
think it's a problem that I recognize it and I don't act on it, and that I'm just like, yeah, well, at least I recognize it. Yeah, that's a fucking problem if you're recognizing you have a problem and then not making actions to fixing that problem.
Yeah,
'Cause then
like definitely
then you're just
people are
gonna-
caught in that limbo, and I agree with you that it is a bad place to be in. But I think it's a good step to start. Some people
no,
take
it's not a good.
some
okay,
people take
yeah, it's a
forever
good
to
step
get out of
start,
it.
but it's not good enough.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good enough.
So I guess I kind of agree with Tanner's idea here. So you're right, it is a good start, but the connotation or the way you're wording it, that's a small little step that people can grasp onto and be like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. We have to be
It's-
strict on ourselves and other people. Like, yeah, that's part of the process. That's like half a step. You got to keep going.
You remember last podcast when we talked about New Year's resolutions and how we talked about how
They
people
were
make New
bullshit?
Year's resolutions? Yeah, that they're bullshit. That's the exact same thing with people saying, "Yeah, I'm aware that I have this problem. I'm gonna try and fix it." It goes back to that Shia LaBeouf meme, dude. Yesterday you said tomorrow, and I don't remember what he says after that, and then he says do it.
Wow,
But yeah, the point
I
is-
love that. I love it. It's so
I
good.
missed the middle part, okay? But the point is that, yeah, you recognize that you have these problems, but that doesn't take you anywhere. It takes willpower to act upon those problems and change those things.
Do you have any Okay, so now based on that, do you have any New Year's resolutions that you know or that you hope to actually get started on?
None that I haven't really put too much thought into it. I know there's definitely some things that I probably want to start for the new year. But I mean, those if I were to think about it, I don't really do New Year's resolutions.
I mean,
If
yeah, I
think
don't
about
really
it,
either, but like, sometimes it's like it's a
yeah. But no, but for like if I have something that I really want to start doing, I'll just start doing it whenever.
yeah,
when I
it's
think.
never really you don't really need a date to signify like the beginning of it.
Yeah. Maybe one of those things is, maybe get a rock climbing membership or something like that. Like being
It
more
sounds like
active.
it sounds like a chore or like something you put on a to-do list.
Well,
Oh, make an
yeah, I mean,
Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's on that list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
within 45 days, I believe.
Yeah, but so what are your thoughts on the first step? We'll call it the first step.
Go ahead, Troy. I'll let you start.
So let's just recap what we've talked about so far before we continue further. People who are self-aware of their problems but kind of get stuck there, don't really progress any further. I think Jason's view was kind of like he was very positive encouragement. He was like, yeah, it's a great first step. Like it can take a long time. It can be the hardest step, but like they're getting there. And Tanner's like, and I kind of agree more with Tanner. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's good that you're there, but that's a step that you should have done or should be doing anyway. It shouldn't be like view too much with this certain amount of praise, because otherwise people get comfortable and all that.
I'm not necessarily trying to praise the people who are in that step. I think that might have been misconstrued, but I say like it is a good.
I understand.
It is the
I
first
understand.
step, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is probably the longest step out of the whole like process to like
You're wrong.
making a
You're
change.
wrong.
I think so because
Well, I think that could be a dangerous statement if you just assume that it is the longest step.
Because then people just sit in there and they're like,
that's-
yeah, well, I know it's kind of hard.
but
so
it's
hard
it's
being
literally like the
right?
weed out part of like a whole starting a change.
No, the weed out.
But I
the
think it
weed
can be
out
different
part
for each
is
person,
taking action.
Yeah, that's
I
why
think
it's
different for each
between this
person.
point and the next one. Because right now you acknowledge it. You're not going to do. Some people don't even know for
The thing
their entire
about-
life,
okay,
but they're
so-
not willing to do anything about it. But then they take that initial first actual actionable step, and then that's when they actually kind of get the train moving.
Yeah, when you start actually taking actions to try and change, that's when I can start respecting that.
So you look
that
down on
process.
people who acknowledge their issues.
No,
But don't do anything.
that's not it. I look. Well, I don't want to say I look down, but it doesn't irk me either. But I see it as a problem if you recognize you have a problem and don't make actions to fix it.
But what do you have a timeline for people who want to
Like,
make that change? Like when is that first
Like, do I give them a
actionable
time
step?
frame?
Yeah,
I don't have a
like
time
if a
frame
guy
for them.
wants
It's not
to
like-
stop smoking weed or something, and he acknowledges that he has a bad habit of it. At what point do you say, all right, this guy's just not doing anything with this. He acknowledges it, but good for him. But who the fuck cares?
if he doesn't make any plans to try and stop, like if you make like like if you those people that do Alcoholics Anonymous where you do these 12
But that's an
like, if you
actionable
have
step. I'm
a
saying
plan.
where's that in between? What point do you say you have to make an actionable step at this time frame?
when they say,
As soon as you
okay,
identify the problem.
when you identify the problem and you say, okay, I'm not going to smoke tomorrow, and I'm not going to smoke for the rest of this week, or maybe I'm only going to smoke maybe once every other day, and then slowly whittle it down until it's no more. Or those people that do nicotine patches or do vaping and all that kind of stuff. Like once you actually start doing something about it, then you're actually doing something. But just by saying, yeah, I have a problem and I'm aware about it, that doesn't mean you're doing anything about it. That's just you being like, yeah, I got a problem.
Well,
And,
of course,
hey, guys,
you would want people to not be stuck in that limbo.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm not trying to defend that limbo. I'm just saying like this is just like what I see.
What I'm trying to say is when you call it the first step is the biggest step, I think that's incorrect to
Yeah.
say.
You
The
think by
biggest
saying
step
that it
is
gives
making
people
the
like
change.
makes people think like, oh, they're doing so much more than they actually are.
That and the fact that it's just not a big step. The biggest step is making the change. The biggest step is quitting cold turkey when you know that you have a problem. That's a big step. But you saying, oh, look, I have a problem. I have a smoking habit. yeah, no shit, everybody can see you're smoking all the time, but it's not like like I don't know. That's just how I see it. I'm not trying to
I
be
think I
cold.
think we're droning on too long about this. Like, so like what is that like? So after once you take that first step, okay, so we acknowledge that you have to acknowledge that you have a problem, and the next move is actionable steps. And then what's
Yeah,
the next one? What's after taking
Make
the?
a plan to change.
that is the last step, I
Is
think.
that so? It's really just a two-step
Making a
process.
plan
You
to
think?
change. Well, I mean, there's different processes to how you rehabilitate. You know, like I said, Alcoholics Anonymous has like what a 12-step program. Um, I'm sure there's other ones for other drug problems and stuff like that. It all just depends, but I think creating that plan is the next step, and then you follow through with that. And then I know, okay, this is an important part. So, and this pertains to Alcoholics Anonymous. The last step to Alcoholics Anonymous, can you guess what that is to recovering from alcohol addiction?
I don't know. What is it?
Is it taking the first sip and not being dependent on it?
No, 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 no.
What the?
No,
Oh my
like
God.
That'd be-
being able
I
to
I
like
could see
take a
that.
drink of alcohol and saying like, okay,
Like the temptation.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can fuck with the
Holy
temptation. Like
shiz.
you don't
No,
you have
Whoa.
power over it.
I guess that's a pretty good
That's
guess,
totally
but
the
no.
okay. I was like,
The
oh.
last step, from what I've heard, is helping somebody else recover from their addiction. So you go back into the
Oh.
program and you sponsor somebody else,
I like that. What the
and
heck?
so that you keep each other accountable for not falling back to the same problem.
Yeah, and now that you're seen as like a figure to look up to, it makes you not want to fail, like especially like this
Yeah.
person's looking up to me because I got out of it.
Yeah.
Damn, I
And if
totally
I
thought it was that
fail, they're
alcohol.
gonna think it's okay if they fail, you know?
Mhm.
Shit.
So
Dang,
when
that's
it comes
deep.
when it comes to addiction and these kinds of like these problems and stuff like that, I feel like maybe I'm a little bit less sympathetic than I should be or that most people are. But
have
I
you dealt
definitely
with
think
something like sort of addiction in your life that you had to like wean yourself off of?
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it like a super big addiction, but I was addicted. I was legitimately addicted to Reddit for a while, like back in high school and early college and stuff like that. I literally look at it all the time. And then eventually I just told myself, I just told myself I gotta stop. And then I did. And then, well, I didn't stop immediately. I only looked at certain subreddits, and that's what I did. I did like a kind of
A
layered
plan,
process.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
now
then eventually
now
I
you
just
can look at
stopped.
Reddit without
Yeah. Now, like I every time there's a basketball game, I'll look up college basketball streams or whatever. But yeah. So I don't know. What are you guys' views on addiction? Do you guys think that do you guys feel sympathetic towards people that have addictions?
I do. I think I am. I can empathize more with them than most. I think I just have like an addictive personality, and I guess I can. I feel like it's taken from my dad, and that's no excuse for my own personal addictions. But I can just like see where it's coming from. He's addicted to cigarettes, and I'm addicted to my phone,
Mm-hmm.
for example. And yes, I know it, but right now I haven't really taken action to fight that urge yet.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yet.
New Year's is coming. It's
I mean,
coming.
I'm not, like Tanner just said, I'm not gonna let a date define the beginning of my step.
If you want to do it, you do it now. You don't wait till tomorrow.
I mean,
So
and,
that gap between identification and
yeah,
action.
I mean,
Tomorrow
and I
never
would say
comes.
like I kind of got addicted to the fact that just being lazy and fat and not really doing much with my like.
Yeah, but I mean, you changed that pretty
Yeah,
well.
and
right?
I
You
did,
regularly-
so I know it's possible to like, make it a conscious effort and do something about like something that you don't want to like about yourself or an addiction or anything, and there was something like the power of habit. Like you can build a good habit, and that's one thing I'm trying to work more on. I think it's like it takes you 3 weeks to build a habit or
21 days. Yeah.
21 days. But 21 days is a long time if in like the small like
Yeah.
when you're staring at like the road ahead of you. Like
That's true. But like it gives you something to look forward to. So yeah, it takes you 21 days to form a good habit and only a second to
Yeah, but if
destroy
you've written down those 21 days, like that's amazing. And if you do those 21 days, then that was the last step. Now you just gotta keep doing it.
Troy, do you have any addictions that you had before that you overcame or that you were still working on?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing like 10 league games a day, like in the
That's
like middle of my college
that's
career.
almost like 8 hours, I think.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes it could be longer too. So
Yeah.
that was really horrible, and I just couldn't stop. But it's so crazy. Like right now, like I'm not gonna bother to play it unless like I have a friend that'll play it with me. And
Mhm.
then usually after just one, I'm like, all right, peace out. Like it's just so crazy how much I've changed since then.
Do you know why? Was that whole realization that it was like taking a huge part of your life your reasoning to stop it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was losing grades, right? My relationship with my girlfriend was being heavily strained, right? Like, cause I'm spending so much hours on this thing instead, and then my music took a toll. I should be a lot better now as a composer and a player than I am right now, because I spent all those like hours to like hit diamond in league or whatever.
Oh, at least you hit
So, I mean,
diamond though.
at least I got diamond. At least I'm in the
I
top
got
one
that on
percent.
my.
Put that on my LinkedIn. But yeah, so I suffered a lot of consequences for that. But and I guess I started taking some small steps. I said, "Oh God, it's gonna sound so sad," but I had a whiteboard on it, and then there was 5 slots on it. I'm like, I can only play 5 games a day, and I'll put like a
Ooh.
check on it whenever I played 1 out of 5, whatever. And even that was hard. That's so crazy that
Yeah.
I even viewed that was hard. But that I just took small steps like that too, and then I forced myself to do other stuff.
It's hard, especially when you start making excuses for yourself, and then where
Yeah,
you're
oh,
just
for
like,
sure.
you know what? So Soquan wants to play another game with me, and
Yeah,
that'll be my
I
sixth
definitely had a
game.
couple of relapse days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would play 5 games, and then it would end on such a horrible, unfair, unlucky loss. You're like, you know what? That doesn't really count. Play one more.
Yeah, I've had those
So-
moments too where you like kind of justify playing
For
and being
sure.
like, yeah, that last one didn't count.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
For sure.
I think it's definitely normal to have those relapses, but it's just your goal to make that trend keep going down, right?
Yeah,
If you mess
it's
up
easy.
one every couple of days, like, yeah, that's not good, but it's not game over yet. Just keep it up, you know?
Yeah, no, and it's definitely easy to fall into a trap of like giving yourselves exceptions to the rule where you're just like, yeah,
yeah.
well, this one didn't count because it wasn't, it wasn't a full game or they surrendered or this and
Yeah.
that. And then really I think what it comes down to is discipline.
For sure.
Discipline is one of those things that I think I hold it in the highest, the highest trait that you could attain, having self-discipline, because
Yeah.
motivation comes externally and all these other things come externally, but discipline comes from yourself.
Yeah, inside, yep.
And so if you have like discipline over yourself, then you're not bound to anything. Like nobody
know.
can control you or anything like that. You
Yeah, I
you
know.
control yourself. So
Have you reached discipline level 10?
no, but
Level
I like during my sophomore year, I really tried to like, I don't know, what would you say, raise your discipline or
Yeah.
be more disciplined? Yeah,
Yes.
I don't
I want to
I
be
don't know.
more disciplined.
and I was doing pretty well on it. Like I would work out regularly and I would eat healthily. Like
Healthily?
I was almost vegetarian for a little bit, and
Wow.
yeah, and then eventually I kind of got too busy and lazy. Like that was at that point that I joined ASU, and then
Mhm.
all those clubs and things just kind of took up all my time, and I wasn't able to eat healthily. I didn't have time to work out and do all these things that I told myself I would do, and then
Yeah.
but for me it was kind of like I traded something, the opportunity cost. It was like,
Yeah.
do I can like improve myself or like have this social life that
Do you
I
think it
kinda
was worth
wanna
the
have?
trade then?
I've thought about it.
Or do you think you
and
maybe could have had a little bit of both? Maybe you could have managed and get a little bit more of both.
I couldn't have had the experience that I wanted doing, either which one. I had to kind of choose at some sort of level. I think that it was worth it for me. I think that I chose the right path.
Okay.
Because I like even now I can still choose to become more disciplined, but I wouldn't be able to go back and reform those memories that I had.
You couldn't
know?
have built those friendships,
Exactly.
such as this podcast.
But I think
Sheds one too.
discipline is it's always a work in progress. You always gotta,
Yeah.
but it's something that you have to actively think about training yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's about increasing your willpower.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so
When I was a little kid, I had so much good willpower. I don't know where it came from or how it was there, but literally I would just do anything, no matter how much I didn't want to do it or how bad it seemed. And my young kid self would either say in my mind or say out loud, "Willpower," and I would just do it. Like, isn't that so cheesy?
Superpower.
It's
I like
so
that.
cheesy. Yeah.
willpower.
And I felt willpower. But lately, like, I think ever since I hit maybe an age something like 13 or 14, I've never had that amazing willpower ever again. And like
Was
I
it like
think about
a
it like,
He-Man type
every
deal?
every couple times a year. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could become that willpower type of guy again. And
You
I
still
still want to
can.
try to get that
You
back.
still
Yeah, I
can.
still
That
can.
willpower is a superpower, man. Like if you
It
think
is.
about
It
it.
was amazing. It
Yeah.
was. It's so much more impressive than it sounds, and how cheesy it sounds. Willpower, like
I
Yeah,
have
honestly,
the
if you could just say something that would bring yourself to do something that you really didn't
yeah,
want to do, like that would solve
Yeah,
pretty much every
this is a
college
very
student's
like
problem.
adult like superpower.
it's so.
Yeah, right.
It's
And you
so
had that
sad.
when you were
Like,
just a little kid.
I just
kind of lately, like maybe in these past couple of years, I try to bring that old me back, right? So like something sucks, I'm really lazy, tired, or sick or something, but I need to do something. So I'm like, willpower, but then I just don't do it. I'm like, where is it? I don't
Where
feel
is that
it.
energy?
And then I just don't do what I said I was gonna do. I'm like, oh my god, that was so pathetic.
That's kind of sad, actually.
Where's willpower?
when you needed him most,
Willpower is
he
like your best
disappeared.
friend or something.
Yeah.
William Power.
Will Smith's brother or something like that. Willpower.
Willpower Smith.
Willpower Smith?
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm at a point that I can quit anything if I wanted to.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. All right, here I'll make you
But
a bet.
okay, go
then.
ahead.
You can't jerk off for the next month.
I can do that.
Whoa.
But how are you gonna tell?
At the end of it,
Also,
you have to
I
jerk
feel
off.
like there
in
should be a
front of
good
me.
reason. There should be a good reason why he should do this thing, you know?
No, there
Yeah,
is a
you
good
know.
reason. There are good reasons. You just kind of like, you create more sensitivity.
It doesn't matter because the point of discipline isn't to do it for some sort of external reason. The point is to
Well, I mean, it betters
Oh,
yourself. It's well better for yourself.
Oh yeah, the whole point of discipline is not being slave to any emotions or desires, right?
I wouldn't say emotions or desires, but I guess yeah, in a way it's just like not
Yeah,
having
like
to.
you can logically choose with like buttons, like right, like I want to do this, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this, I'm gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And that's discipline, maybe.
Maybe.
Sorta, I
Maybe. It's kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's how they control what those JRTC or those army people. They
Press buttons.
pull them into this trap of discipline, and then you can just make them do whatever you want.
How dare you?
Yeah, they're a bunch of jarheads.
It was Veterans Day just not too long ago. You can't say stuff like that.
You're right. You're right.
Respect
I,
our
I
troops. Our troops.
respect.
Okay, hide your thumb. Hide your
really?
thumb, you idiots.
Is that
What's
is
wrong with the
that
thumb?
You're supposed to hide your thumb when you salute.
why?
That's
Why?
just how it's proper, and you do it at the tip of your eyebrow.
I feel like these things should have reasons, though.
I forgot what you just don't want to.
Oh, maybe there were reasons, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
there probably were. I just don't know. I just know that
Okay.
you're not supposed to show your thumb.
Like this, man.
Get fucked, kid. Get fucked, America. Mm-hmm.
Check out my thumb, fuckers.
All right. Well, that was a stupid
Oh my God.
tangent.
Let's move on.
All right, so I had a couple questions that I had some friends ask me, and they wanted to hear our kind of perspectives on it. So
Yeah, that's great.
this is a question that I think I've been asking myself for a long while. I think for about the last 6-7 years, and like, are there soulmates? Do they exist? And if so, like, you know, is there multiple, or do you think there's only one legitimate soulmate?
I don't think there are soulmates, and I think people should hope that there aren't soulmates, because the chance of you actually meeting that soulmate, which is a predetermined thing, that's like 0.0001%. I feel like it just makes a lot more sense that the person that you vibe with, or like you think is like near perfect, they just happen to have like a ton of like similar like personalities or traits, or like you guys are just very compatible and care about each other. To think about it on like a soul level, I think is like dangerous actually, because then that provides excuses like, oh, we didn't work out because we're not soulmates. No, you just didn't work out because you didn't do this shit or something, you know.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I kind of agree with that, but that's why I kind of subscribe to the idea that you have multiple soulmates.
Wow.
Because I don't want I don't like the idea that there's only one person in the world out there for you.
Yeah, that's bad.
But I like to think that
I think that's
there are multiple people out there that that fit that criteria, that makes you happy, and the best you that you can be.
I just still disagree with the last remaining property of soulmates. Like it's
There
in the
could
soul, like it was predetermined. It's not about like what they did in life or how they behave or their personality. It's just already determined. Like, you don't keep molding yourself or
they
changing
may be
yourself.
destined to fit those criteria for you. Like a person can be your soul, can't be your soulmate if they happen to have like this specific flaw that you hate so much. You're my soulmate, but you in that cigarette, and heroin addiction, just doesn't fly well with me.
Yeah. Ironically enough, if soulmates were real, I think that's less special than if soulmates weren't real, because that's just something that was already there. Whereas it's not something you really work towards or like found like.
Some people never
normal means.
never get to meet their soulmates though. Like it's
Yeah,
not.
they probably will never actually.
It's not necessarily saying like you will always find your soulmate, but
Oh no, I'm not assuming that either. Yeah.
No, I mean, according to Troy, you're more than likely never going to meet your soulmate.
Yeah.
yeah, you
Because the
probably
chances,
won't.
because yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I think that's just a bad thing to believe in.
I don't think it's necessarily bad or good. I think it's just your kind of
Really?
perspective on romance. I don't think it hinders you, really.
I think
But I said some reasons why it does hinder you, right, Tanner?
Yeah.
Like it can create excuses. Like
You use it as
this
a
didn't
crutch.
work out because they're not my soulmate. You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not really. For me, that's not an excuse. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't use that excuse in my own personal.
But I think people
life.
just because you wouldn't doesn't
No,
mean
no,
other
yeah, that's
people
why I was
would.
about to like lay out the caveat that in my own personal life.
Yeah.
But like, oh no, I just lost my train of thought.
We'll come back to you.
We'll come back to you, Tanner. You haven't
Tanner,
really said much about
you
this.
talk about soulmates.
I don't think I believe in soulmates, or at least I don't actively think about it because. Yeah, I just.
Would you say either of you guys are kind of romance guys, romantics?
I used to be.
You used to be.
No.
What kind of changed that?
I think.
If you're willing to share,
I mean, I don't feel like there was.
there was no like
just
pivotal
any one
moment.
particular event, but I think like that magic, like I still feel like I am in some sort of ways, like the hopeless romantic, but I don't. I think that like once you get into a relationship or like once you see what actual, what the real world is like, that kind of fades pretty quickly. Like you see that, I think I remember like growing up and you're like, wow, sex is this like really meaningful connection between two people, and then you realize that everybody's just hooking up with each other. Everybody's just
right,
kind of
pound
like
it.
it doesn't really.
Yeah, it's so
Brother.
sad actually. Maybe we should talk about that later tonight too. How people are closer physically than they are emotionally in today's age.
I mean, yeah, but
But soulmates, yeah, I don't know. It's just like you find some people that you're more compatible with than other people, but it's not like
Yeah.
because the thing about soulmates is like they're like Troy said, there's some sort of predetermined
Like some
thing
soul-
that there's
and
like some
you're,
sort
you're,
of
you're the type
non-scientific-
of guy that doesn't believe in determinism, right?
it's not like that. It's that I don't believe that there's somebody kind of controlling or some sort of external omniscient being that controls that
Yeah.
these two people are going to be with these people. It's not like
Yeah.
some matchmaker.
I guess I
Humans
don't.
number
I
12,
don't
humans
necessarily
number
think
12.
like some external like power is or external being is like, he's
Okay, look, if we're gonna go by determinism, yeah, you'll end up with somebody in the very end because that's just the course of events. So like that last person that you end up with, you could call that your soulmate, and you could say that was determined. Yeah, that was determined, but it's not like.
Sometimes
But
I feel like
the
people.
connotation,
Some people end up not with their soulmates, and they end
and
up
then
being
some
like.
people end up with nobody. But if you don't end up with anybody, it doesn't mean that you didn't end up with your soulmate. That just means that there wasn't anybody for you to end up
Yeah,
with.
some people don't have soulmates.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think soulmates shouldn't exist as a theory.
There are
I think
no
that's so
soulmates.
sad to think that this human doesn't have a soulmate. It was just
You know
already
what, dude?
determined.
I'm
I'm
looking
gonna
at
go
Tanner.
ahead and say it. Soulmates are on the level of astrology shit, bro.
Like
Ooh.
zodiacs.
Zodiac signs and all that shit.
I mean, I don't believe in zodiac sign, but
But you believe in soulmates.
I believe in. Yeah, I mean, like I
It's
said.
so Gemini of you, bro. All right, shut the fuck up.
Listen, I read my Taurus scripture today, and it told me that I will find my soulmate in the next
Yeah.
week. So, crossing my fingers.
So I think when it comes to like relationships and like happiness, or like this couple who's been together for 50 years and they're like almost near perfect, like yes, I met my soulmate. I think all of it when you look down, if you were able to look at all the details, it would just make complete sense. Oh, they have this in common. They have this in common. They spent this many years over here. They do this. They do this. It just makes complete sense. It's all logical and scientific. There's no
I feel like
And
maybe
then 10 years down the line, one of them cheats on the other person.
I feel
and
like
then
maybe
they
it's just
realize, we were soulmates.
I feel like it just might be the romantic in me that likes to believe that. Okay, never mind. I lost it.
again.
You know, it was
No,
it was
I used to strongly believe that, and to this day I still do, like that love is this kind of intangible, indescribable thing.
Yeah, okay, that's exactly what I was gonna say there.
It's like this, like the indescribable connection you feel with somebody. But the thing is, just because you feel that with somebody doesn't mean that they're your soulmate.
No.
And just because
You can have love for someone.
I forgot where I was going.
You can have love for someone who's not necessarily your soulmate, and I think love is like something that you look on not with the lens of someone who's logical or so pragmatic. Love is like kind of external. It's more emotional. It's something that's like not measurable. So
yeah, for sure.
It's not legitimate science. So that's why I feel like I kind of subscribe to like these ideas of these romantic ideas that maybe that's sort of like. And I also like I said earlier when I said there may be multiple soulmates. That's me being logical. Logical, meaning
I
like
think it's hopeful.
Why?
no, because
It's not logical to think of soulmates.
no, but like
The
it's
idea
me,
of a
it's me
soulmate is already
combine
not logical.
me combining like it's
Trying to find a middle ground?
it's my logic side fighting with
That's
my
you being hopeful that you can still be a logical person and believe in soulmates.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
but
that's you being
I
hopeful.
thought it was
That's not you
I
being
thought
logical.
knowing but how it was kind of like laid out when you said hopeful, like hopeful that soulmates are real or something. Or
Yeah,
hopeful
but
that
what
I
I'm
will
saying is
find
that
my
you're
soulmate.
not. In the end, you're still not being logical.
Oh yeah, I know I'm not. So
okay.
I know it's not completely logical, but
Oh.
and that's kind of how I preface
I
it with
think-
that whole like love is not
Yeah.
logical.
I still think that I mean I understand that love is not logical, but I still don't think that just because of that.
I mean, I'm not trying to tell you that you have to believe in.
bullshit, bro.
Excuse me, what did you just say? I'm not gonna find my soulmate.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I feel like even
What else you got for us? Oh,
even if
sorry.
love may not seem logical to you, or it seems like intangible or something magical, I also feel like it doesn't necessarily mean you have a soul either. Or maybe you're just using it as a term.
I'm not
Maybe
saying-
just using it as a term, right?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you believe in souls? I don't.
I feel like if you believe in soulmates, you kind of.
I think that you're just. I think soul. I think that's just like a semantics thing.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
I
necessarily like which
I understand
so-
that, but I think that when you assign a soulmate to somebody, you're kind of assigning it. You're assigning it to some sort of like thing that exists within you, not just your body, but like something that's
Exactly.
Like,
So before your body even existed, at some point these two souls were tied together and determined these guys are soulmates for each other.
yeah.
Right.
So you kind of
Is
have
that
to
something
believe some
you
sort
would
of
believe
thing.
in, right?
I guess, yeah, sure.
This game,
Yeah,
bro.
I
Wait, what-
personally
did
can't.
you not
I
hear
can't
me?
believe in that. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait, but Troy, you don't believe in a soul?
Um,
And I only say it like that because
I mean,
you used to
I
be
suppose it's
Catholic.
possible, but when we're talking specifically about like souls being predeterminedly tied to each other despite like bodies and growing up, I'm saying I don't believe in that.
you don't believe in so okay. Let's just take that apart away then.
Yeah.
But souls are kind of if we do go on the topic of souls. Souls are like it's you. They're you, and they're like the spiritual version of you.
Uh-huh.
So like, do you not believe in a spiritual version of you that kind of like is beyond your physical form?
I guess if we just use the argument, there's no scientific proof otherwise, then
I mean, there is
sure,
no-
but likely I'm gonna say probably not. Probably not. There's not a soul.
Well, have you ever seen a soul? So how can
I have not.
probably not? So how can you say there's not a soul?
I'm just gonna say there's probably not.
This is just like that whole flat Earth thing.
What do you mean? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and to which I say probably not, but I can't know for sure.
I'm gonna say it's
That's all.
But the burden of proof isn't on Troy to prove that there isn't a soul. The burden of proof is on you to prove that there is a soul.
I don't have any proof, to be honest.
Okay, then you can't challenge him to say, "Can you prove that there isn't a soul?"
Yeah, that
You
doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
have to prove that there is a soul.
I've read some tablets,
tablets.
from
Some scriptures.
reputable people.
Uh,
and I can't argue with
Yeah.
them. These people have done the research for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to recap my thoughts on soulmates, I think it is a not good ideology that's tied to like predeterminism and like it's a room for like excuses. I think love may seem like it doesn't make sense, but I feel like it makes sense.
No, love does not make
So,
sense. I'm not gonna argue that part because love does not.
What are the
but
love questions you
why
got
do you
for
think it
us?
doesn't make sense, Jason?
Because it's not. I feel like it's like it's a part of it's like it's so emotional and so like passion full of passion and like a
Yeah, it
lot
all
of
comes from the human brain.
yeah, of course, but like so does every other thing. So does that mean everything is like is falls into a sort of logic? There are unexplainable things, and I feel like first we have to kind of say what is love at the to kind of like start this off, I guess.
When it comes to like what kinds of things do you think are unexplainable? Because I think fire was unexplainable thousands of years ago. All these things were unexplainable, but we figure them out and we figure out logical solutions to them.
So why? But I don't think
I think that
I don't think we've been able to figure out love to its
well,
fullest
that's
degree.
just the next challenge.
That's the next step. Yeah.
But I think that
I'll wait.
but I do feel that in that illogicalness of love, like it's definitely something that it overwhelms you. Like you just it just hits you like a baseball bat, and you don't know what to make of it. But I think that
I'm sure it's just like just a bunch of chemical reactions happening inside of you.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an algorithm of how attractive they are, how much you like them, how much fun you have with them. It's something like that.
I don't think there's a full algorithm for it, but
Well, not
It's just a
literally,
really hard
just at
algorithm.
a high level, like all those things added together, like make sense. I think. I think for you to just love someone for no reason doesn't make sense because there's a reason.
I'm trying to think.
You don't just love someone for no reason.
I'm trying
You
to
love them
think, have
because
I
X,
ever
Y,
loved
Z, something.
someone for no reason? Probably not. Even like unconditional.
Well, then
love.
you get into like love versus being in love. Like I love a lot of people that
Yeah.
I don't actively think about, but I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Yeah.
and like I love people that I don't particularly like, too.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's not the same as being in love.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So whenever I say love, I think we're all talking about the in love part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I was still talking about that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I personally can't think of a time that I love someone for no reason.
I just, I'm sure like of course you can't build love off nothing, and I don't believe in love at first sight either, and like
I used to. No,
I mean
never.
I think I used to back in like more like
Yeah, but you believe in soulmates.
yeah.
I
doesn't
had
seem
the same
like-
frustration with Jason when we were talking about free will like a couple years ago. But yeah,
Uh.
because for Jason, it's like
I'm not
responds
speak
more
whenever I
emotionally.
speak of this like these illogical like things. Of course, I'm not gonna use much logic into it. I'm gonna speak on my like personal bias.
Uh-huh. Like a religion almost. A
Yeah.
belief with no logic. Which is fine.
I guess that's what faith
He has
is.
faith in love, bro. He has faith in
And
love.
I
What a
Faith
loser.
and love.
I think
What a loser.
I think having that faith in love kind of gives you maybe a better perspective on life. Like,
What do you mean by better?
What do you mean better perspective on life? Having faith and love.
having faith in something?
Like, it makes
in
you a
something.
happier person.
Yeah, I think it makes you a happier person,
I can agree with that.
and like
I can agree that like it helps a lot more people than
then and I use that
not.
same argument with religion. I don't subscribe to religion or anything, but I do believe that it does do good for some societies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And like, yeah, I mean, we're not gonna go back on religion talk, even though I think we hit that so many times, and we always like say the same bullshit.
So you think religion has done more good than bad in the world?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know the
That-
metrics or like I don't have any like numbers.
Next
to back it
episode,
up.
ladies and gentlemen.
when you think about all the holy wars. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like I'm trying, but like
Give us some more love related questions.
Yeah, well,
let me see what we got here. What one thing is the most important is the most important part of a relationship?
did you say one thing?
What
Um,
one thing do you think
trust.
is trust?
Yeah. Being able to trust the other person, and that includes like vulnerability. If you trust them enough to be vulnerable around them, and if they trust you enough to be vulnerable around you, if you don't have that trust, then the relationship will fall apart. Is what I believe.
And I'm going to make sure that everyone understands that there is no right answer to this.
No, I'm right.
There's only one.
It's
That's what
trust.
I'm
I know
about to say.
Tanner just seemed like the type to be like,
For me, I would say it relates to Tanner's. I'm going to say interest. I feel like if you're interested in your significant other enough or like them enough, like that's also related to trust. Like if
Yeah,
you were
I was
this
like, how is
interested,
that?
I don't think
I
that's
don't think that.
related.
Yeah, that's
Really?
totally
I don't think
different.
that's related. Yeah.
Because
Really?
you
I
could
think
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say like yeah, you could be interested in somebody and share interests, but not
Uh-huh.
necessarily trust them enough to be vulnerable around them, like to share all your
Your deepest, darkest secrets, or like,
in your fears and stuff like that. Yeah.
but
Or
yeah,
maybe I define love as like incredibly strong interest then. Like strong to the point where all
For
these
me,
other
I
pieces
think that
fall
that's
in.
infatuation.
yeah,
And
that's
I distinguish love and
Infatuation?
because
interest.
eventually kind of
Maybe I meant to say
dissipates.
that then instead of interest.
What?
Infatuation, I guess. Is that a stronger word of interest?
But for
Love?
like infatuation is more surface level.
Yeah.
You know, like you
Oh.
can be strongly infatuated with somebody that's based on like this one detail or a couple of details that you notice about them. But
Uh-huh.
it's not for me. I don't think that infatuation is real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
infatuation is that honeymoon phase with it when during a relationship. And if you think like that you're gonna be in that honeymoon phase for like the entire course of the relationship, then you're probably gonna get like it's gonna blow up in your face.
Yeah.
Mm.
So even though I just said interest, like you can't have any wrong answers.
That's the wrong
That's
answer.
the wrong
That's
answer,
wrong,
Jim.
Troy.
That's the
Sorry.
wrong number. All
But
right. Well, you think if you want to re-come up with another answer, I want to hear
Sure,
what
I'll
Jason
try
has to say.
again. Something that's acceptable to you guys.
All right, Jason. In the meanwhile, hit us.
I think trust. I definitely agree with the trust thing. Like, being that like I've been over the course of I guess since I was 16 or something since I've been in relationships. Um, I was I've been cheated on like twice. I never there were points where I kind of questioned so there were moments where I kind of were questioning like motives of my significant other and always in fear of what the next thing that could possibly happen. And I guess that fear kind of made me more anxious and fearful. Fearful, so I start acting a certain type of way where I'm more obsessive, where I may have been manipulative, and it just kind of like degrades you as a person. So being being at that comfortable level of trust with someone where for a fact um, all your secrets are safe with them, or the fact that that you are theirs and they are yours. That sort of thing encompasses what the most important part of a relationship, asset or the factor in the relationship to make it successful.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and I definitely think that like it's a really hard thing. It's not as easy as you might think. Like some people are really willing to like spill out all their secrets and stuff like that, but I think that it kind of goes a little bit deeper than just like secrets and stuff.
Yeah,
like
of
that.
course.
And if you can't maintain, and it's also the thing about it is it has to be a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You
if you can't share and receive like it, and that okay, I don't know where I'm going.
If you can only share, or if you can only receive, that's not good.
Yeah.
Both parties need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Tanner's kind of like talk about like being willing to be vulnerable to someone, to open yourself up, to be at this like sort of like position where you can get like destroyed, or you can have like the worst possible thing happen to you, or for them to take advantage of you, but you trust that they don't.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my biggest problems. Where I don't think that I could
Trust someone.
I don't think that I could fully I don't think I could fully be vulnerable around anybody, and I don't think that I could fully trust.
Maybe that goes back to that one topic where you were just like saying that you've learned to not let anyone pity you or something like that.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah,
they definitely.
whoa.
I think that plays a big part into it. Like,
Crazy.
I don't want to be at a position where I don't want to like just give up my position. You know, I don't want to put myself in a point where like I can be destroyed because then
Do you think you're
if I
capable
get destroyed, it's fuck. Like, I get
of
fucked up.
changing? Do you think you could change that? Like, is that your New Year's resolution?
I don't know if that's my New Year's resolution, but I think it's something that it just depends on really how I want to like how ultimately I want to live my life. But I think that if I ever want to get into be seriously in a relationship, like that's something that I'm gonna have to revisit.
Yeah,
Like I can get by for a while without having to
You can be
You
in a
know.
relationship, but not
have that full
vulnerability.
scale trust. Yeah.
And that kind of like that adds a huge hindrance into it. I think in the long run.
Yeah.
So Troy,
Trust nobody, bro.
Troy, did you think of a new answer, or are you sticking to
No,
it?
I'm just gonna say the same answer, but I'm not gonna tie it
Get
to
the fuck outta
Tanner's
here,
trust.
okay?
I'm just not gonna say that it's related to Tanner's trust. So I think interest is the most important because if you grow tired of your significant other, then like it all just goes away, right? Like, what's the point of like doing this or doing this?
It's not.
You know, like you need to stay like excited or like interested in your significant other. Otherwise, it's not really. It's a relationship just to be a relationship, right? Rather than being in a relationship because it makes you happy.
I see that.
I mean, yeah, I could see it, but like,
Like, who wants to be in a bored relationship? Am I right?
Am I right, brothers?
I see it, but I also don't see it. But
Why don't you don't see it? Why don't you see it?
because like everyone change. I feel like it's not for me. I feel like a relationship is more about growing together and learning together and making each other a better person. And that doesn't necessarily mean like
You think that can go together with
no,
what
no,
I
yeah,
said.
but that could, like I'm about to say, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have super like all the super interested in each other in that sort of way. I think you build that sort of familiarity and you start building that unconditional love for another person, and that kind of like that's the cement. You build that foundation. That's what it is. That's all that interest and infatuation. That's building that foundation initially, and then how it continues to grow is all on you.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm just gonna make sure I'm not exaggerating. Like how exciting every day.
You just cut
I'm
out.
just saying. Oh, sorry. So I want to emphasize that I'm not saying every day or like every like blank interaction event has to be super exciting and interesting, but in general, like there cannot be too long of just nothing, right? Just like talking to talk or just doing stuff together just to do stuff together without actually like it being fun,
Okay,
right?
I could
So, yeah,
understand that.
that's what
Like
I'm trying to say. I'm not.
you should enjoy or like kind of be want to be with your significant other, I guess.
Yeah, you need to have fun, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most important because if you lose that, you lose everything else. I think, or you will.
Possibly, but yeah, I definitely can vibe with that a little bit.
Yeah,
They all build on each other.
yeah. It's all an interlinked puzzle.
If you're willing to share, where did your previous relationship go wrong? And this is I know this could be very personal for people who don't like to share.
Okay, I guess I can start. I think that,
Whoa, you were the person.
Tanner was the last person.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'm not gonna go super deep into it. I'm gonna
course,
go pretty
that's
high
fine.
level about it. But like, I think like I'm bringing it up because I think that it's the exact same things I said before. Like, it came down to I wasn't able to bring myself to be vulnerable around the person. I think
that person,
and that's something that it's something that I really struggled with. So I think that because I wasn't able to make that leap, everything else wasn't able to build on top of it. Everything was just kind of like sliding off. All the layers.
Would you say it was
a
a very surface level relationship then?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Do you think you sort of felt love then during that relationship, or
I did.
like
Yeah.
the full on
Like,
in love,
like I said,
or just that, or
I don't know if I felt in love. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
I
talking about
couldn't
you.
say.
I'm not saying.
But I think that like what we said earlier, it has to be a two-way street. Like I felt like I was able I was able to be empathetic and compassionate and hear
Oh,
the
you would
things.
soak up all that sad stuff or whatever, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't
The deep
able
stuff.
to, reciprocate and give
Oh,
back the same energy of vulnerability and being able to share all my
yeah.
secrets. Because I don't know, I just
But why
uh,
why do you I mean, I know the answer is obvious, but let's just try to explain a bit. Why should you have to? Why do you need to open up this
because
extra door?
because I think that's what differentiates being in love with somebody and just
Yeah, that's
being
kind
really
of goes
good
back to the
friends with
last
somebody.
question. Like, what was the one thing
Mm.
that the most important thing? And
No.
Tanner, when
Yeah.
Tanner said trust, he also said vulnerability.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that that's just like the one distinguishing factor. Like,
Yeah.
that.
I was wondering, like, if you felt like you were like, very bottled up, like all the stuff's coming in, but nothing's coming
No,
out.
I mean, I didn't. The thing is, I didn't feel bottled up about it. It's not like I was like dying to share all my secrets and everything. It was just more so like
Please.
I can't.
Someone hear
I
me
don't know.
out.
Also,
I'm gonna
another thing about
explode.
myself being in relationships, like I don't like being. It's really weird, but I don't like being known too well.
What do you mean?
What does
You
that
don't like
mean?
someone knowing everything,
Too
like
much about
all
you?
the. So
Like
back to the vulnerability.
like yeah, I guess it goes back to vulnerability, but like knowing my habits and all that things like that,
Oh, how
like
many
being able
leg
to.
hairs you have?
I don't know. I
Knowing
don't
that
know
you
if that
wear
is.
a mustard yellow sweater.
Bro, there's
Everyone knows
nothing
that.
wrong with that sweater. Okay,
No
I get
one's.
a lot.
I didn't say
No,
anything
no,
wrong with it. I
it's
just said that.
psychology. Cool.
I'm just
You have
acknowledging.
to bring it up every single time because I lost it and I'm very hurt
I'm
about it. Okay?
acknowledging your habits.
Wait, we gotta get you a new one.
I gotta get a new one, man. I
It'll
don't
never
know.
be
It
the
was from
same.
Old Navy. I think it's out of season. But
Yeah, it'll
anyways,
never
yeah.
be the
So,
same.
yeah. So I think mine, the issues with mine came down with my inability to be vulnerable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Next,
Next, Troy or B? I don't care. You know
Yeah.
what? I'll take the lead on this one.
hit it.
Go ahead, Troy.
I'm
I'm just kidding. I'm just
So,
kidding. I mean, I would say like my last sort of relationship, weird fiasco, didn't work out as planned because of the fact that initially I would say I wasn't as dedicated to the whole process, to the whole idea of being in a relationship, and so I wasn't even making myself available even in that sort of sense. So that's just a personal like kind of like switch I had to turn on and off, and it was caught in the in between, so it wasn't necessarily off or on. And also like just I think like it's mainly just distance. Um, Distance definitely causes a huge factor in like how relationships function, especially like if you're not used to it or if there was no foundation previously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you live and you learn, and this one, this relationship ending or whatever it was more understandable to me because I can actually like pinpoint like what I did wrong and know that how I can better myself or like work what things I have to work on. Previously, in like the bigger relationship, the 3-year one where everything kind of fell apart, was just. I mean, it was,
Like everything fell apart. My life was destroyed. I was
now
dying
here
on
I
the
am.
inside.
He said it so casually, but anyhow, keep going. Keep going.
I think how it so the first time she cheated on me was I think it was just like I guess how it goes back to the Troy thing was losing interest.
Oh
But
shit.
like you lose interest, but you also still love the person and you don't want to lose them as well. So when it's literally having your cake and eating it too. You want to keep that cake
Yeah.
of someone loving you, and then you go ahead and cheat, and then afterwards you feel kind of like shitty about it. So, but I was a fool to forgive her and bring back the relationship. But I think going through that sort of roller coaster of emotions of that 4 year relationship definitely made me a stronger person, and definitely makes me more aware of what I want in a relationship and my sort of flaws, so I can work on them in future ones. So like I said, I was very manipulative afterwards. Very obsessive, texting her like, "Hey, where are you? Who you hang out with? That dude? Oh, that dude has a crush on you. Better watch out. I swear to God. I swear to
Oh
God."
shit.
I
And
fucking cut him.
yeah, so like, and then eventually it ended like because of that, where I was still being that manipulative guy, and it kind of took that extra step uh, where she started to fear that what I could do, even though like I know for myself it is incapable of doing, but that fear, because like it's also like a combination of her past and like the situation that we were currently in. So it was very complicated, and it definitely brought a lot of new perspectives to me. So I definitely learned from that, and I'm definitely better. But very rough time, and I won't go into details because I just don't want to.
Thank you for sharing.
It's been 9
And
years.
it's about that time, gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just kidding. No, I'll say my end. I'll say my end. Okay. So, there was a lot of ways I could have played it right, but I just didn't. I could have either, toughed it out, because this is something we kind of brought up a while ago, and it's a very complicated fine line balance and this is that thing that's hard to measure, right? Even though I think love is like pretty logical, there's those calls that you have to make, like love is like natural, like love, interest, desire, but then it's also hard work, right? So even on days where you're not really feeling it or whatever, you got to force yourself to like talk with this person for a while, just because there's your significant other, right? And then like how long of that should you have to do it? Like how long of that should you do that to like look for the big
Like
picture?
the ratio of like work to
Of work versus natural like interest and fun,
Oh,
right?
work-life balance. Yes.
Yeah, work-life balance.
If
So,
only
I
you could
mean,
work one day from home. Maybe that could have fixed
I
it.
just, oh, that would be so nice. But basically, just the idea of I wasn't enjoying myself really conversing with her long distance is a killer. Like Jason said, like we were together like in person for like 4 years, and that was really amazing and really fun. But a lot of the stuff we like to do together, like go to events or go cooking or like any of that, like you can't do that over a long distance. So it just became like some casual internet talk or like watching some TV shows over online. But it's just nowhere near the same. Definitely not as fun as something I could be doing here, like playing music or playing some games with my friends at like a higher level that she couldn't really play, or like doing any of these things. Like I was just having more fun. Like, and I chose to like, oh, I'm gonna start having this podcast talk and these business talks too, like on the side. And so I shortened my time schedule, but I was also having more fun. She goes to sleep really early, and she's an hour ahead. So by the time I do all these things that I really want to do and I love to do, by the time I turn around and place her as my last priority, she's already like getting ready to go to sleep, right? So this is happening for a long time, and it's causing a lot of damage and like growing even more distant. And then so I could have either, managed my time even better, like made some more sacrifices. I'll say the word sacrifice for this one, right?
Whoa, sacrifice. You
Like,
sure about that?
yeah. So basically, should I have like done this or do this, or maybe I could try moving back or setting up some like career move. Like there's just so many ways of how to do it, but it just too much damage has been done. And I've been listening to this sad song a lot recently, like, and some of the words is like, there was plenty of time to be happy, but time's up and you got to leave. So
yeah,
like,
dude.
even if I fix all my stuff right now and I'm like, I have time now, but it's just too late. Like
You're
things
not
have
ready.
changed. It's not the same. It's damaged.
Troy,
It's
are
done.
you willing to share that quote
Which quote?
that she shared you,
Oh, Jesus.
if you remember
Okay.
it, or if you
Yeah,
if you also want to?
So I mean,
Jeez, man.
even though I was really,
I like
I
the
was
quote a
not
lot.
having
so.
fun talking to her, like doing any of these things with her. Like we don't even like the same games really either. Right? I still was like, you know what? From the last many times like she's visited me, like it's always fun and great every time we come visit in person. It's like everything's back to normal again, like we were in college. But as soon as we go long distance again, it's just like nothing. It's like not even fun anymore. I was like, you know what? I'm a pretty patient guy. I'm just gonna wait till we move in together, later, like some
Lady.
maybe next year or 2 years from now,
Yeah.
right?
Right on.
And then I was like, and I'll just keep doing what makes me happy too, right? But when I choose that path, her happiness goes down a ton, and that's just causing a ton of damage. So I mean, I told her what I was thinking on the day where it ended and we split. And I told her, hey, I was fine with all this. I was just gonna thought we could just move in later, and even if we're not talking that much. And she was like, the an unwatered flower will die even if you were going to move it to the best spot in the garden.
Wow.
And I was like, you're right. I have nothing to say against that.
It's a pretty
So
hard core
yeah.
fucking quote.
That's fucking reality, man.
Yeah. So unless I can expect my significant other to, like, if I don't communicate perfectly like what I want and what I'm expecting, like that's just what happens for sure. Or if I'm not willing to make these sacrifices, that's what's going to happen.
God
So
damn.
I'm still pretty confused at that myself, like finding that fine balance between natural fun and love and like hard work. Like how much is enough? How much should I deal with or how much should I expect? So that's tough. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy to think like still think long distance is such a killer. Like if I would have just got a job that's still in Florida, I mean, I think we probably would have got married like 99% sure.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Don't
It would have
fucking say
worked.
that, man. Fuck.
I mean,
That's just
say
realistic. Like you
it.
know how logical I am. Like for real, like it would have worked.
Yeah, no regrets.
Say what?
Whoa, what the fuck,
Jesus.
Jason?
No, wait, you can't say you have regrets because it's not a
I
crutch.
mean, okay. Shut the fuck up.
No regrets is a crutch.
I think, yeah, I think that. Fuck, I don't even know what to say, dude. That's, yeah. I had things that I wanted to say and then I forgot. But
It's okay.
It's all these people.
I think it brings up, like, when are you, like, now that you've kind of made these choices and you understand these things about yourself.
And you
now
know the
that
implications of them as well. Your choices.
Not that, but well, I guess that. But you know yourself well enough that you know that these are the things that you like to do, right?
Yeah.
And that you don't have you at this point in your life you can't fit in a relationship. Then it begs the question, like, when are you going to be ready, or are you ready
Exactly.
now? Like, when is the point that you're gonna be able to sustain a relationship and all these things that you want to do? And is the
Yeah.
person that you want to be with, is that person gonna make you not want to do those other things anymore?
Yeah. So like there's so many questions. Like, am I gonna change? Is this next person gonna change? Like, what's
Or is
gonna
it
happen?
gonna
I
fit
think
me
I
better?
think there
No.
like this goes back into sacrifice. I think when you do start a relationship and you want to go serious, there are sacrifices that both of you have to make.
Yeah. This
And-
definitely it was
But
just
when
such
it's
a new.
love, when it's true love, should it feel like sacrifice?
I mean, a little. So in hindsight, it may feel like sacrifice, but in the present moment, no, it doesn't. Because I know when I fell in love, there were so many things I sacrificed, but I didn't feel like a sacrifice. I lost friends, and I was just okay with it because all my energy was on her. But how I kind of look at it now is that I did not have that proper balance. Like love is strong, and love is like can last and go through a number of things, but you shouldn't really lose yourself for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I think the biggest quote that someone told me was that someone your significant other should be part of your world. She should not be 100% your world.
Oh yeah. I think that's a good saying.
It's also like 200% people come together. It's not just like 50-50.
Oh.
You can't just be like you can't have someone complete you
Oh yeah. Yeah.
if that's
For sure. Yeah.
if that makes sense.
But yeah, this was definitely just a very new experience with long distance and then like common interest for sure. Common interest in relation to long distance, right? We had a lot of common interests that were fun without long distance, but in the face of it, it was very hard
Most definitely.
for sure.
All right. So I think I have plenty more questions, but I think this is a good spot to call it.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right.
Sounds good.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out for this, very introspective love cast that we had kind of going on today. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at IATT Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Spotify for all your audio listening needs. And also hit that like and subscribe button because we love it.
Smash.
Smash that. Smashing someone is not love.
Okay. Next time.
That's true though.
All right, guys. Thank you again.
Peace out.
Bye.